So this is kind of like part 2 to the video that I just uploaded. That was basically a bunch of stuff that I recently got, and that was right after I got it. It was all outside still and in the back of the truck. But now it's all down here, and everything's kind of sorted out as far as like this stuff goes. And some of it's actually cleaned already, and not a whole lot of it. Just the Trident ISA card. A lot of it is tested though, as far as video cards go. All the video cards have been tested. None of the sound cards, few of the sticks of RAM, and otherwise nothing really else, other than the 2 motherboards as well, has been tested. So I'm going to go ahead and just quickly show you guys what I got here, and then I'm going to start the making of one of the restoration videos on one of those machines behind me there, and I'll show you guys that in a second. Anyway, here's the video cards, basically all the RAM, all the stuff like that. A lot of RAM that I haven't tested yet. Some of it's newer, some of it's older. There's a couple sticks of DDR, and then it goes all the way back to EO. Just 1 stick of that in there. It's kind of surprising. I was expecting a little more. But nope. Unfortunately, there was no more. There is a 3-com card. Not anything special. I've got a couple of those anyway, so it's not a huge deal for me to get that. But it's still kind of nice to have extra networking cards. Here's all my video cards. So basically these 5 right here in the middle. There's a couple sound cards over there. These are the same. They're ASP003 cards. They're PCI cards, and I don't know if they're that good. They look kind of like something you would see in a maybe mid or early 2000s, late 90s machine. In fact, I've got a couple computers that have those in there. One of them, I think, at least, that has one of those cards in there. Here's, it actually looks kind of like a Sound Blaster card, but it's not. It's just some sort of a random card. There's no name on it. There's one chip, it's a Yamaha chip. It could very well be a Yamaha card, but usually they have, well, there's the label right there. Whoops, there's the little, what looks to be a model number, ATC 6631. I don't know if that's anything important, but maybe I'll research that sometime soon, or whenever I use it or clean it up. Moving on to all the video cards here. Up there in the top left, well, the one that I'm pointing the camera at, that's a S3 Trio 64V2. At least that's what the chip is. I don't know if that's, well, yeah, it's gotta be, because that's what the BIOS chip is too. Anyway, that was, I know that works. I've tested it already. Moving over from that, we got a Trident card. I've actually got a couple of those. 3 of them came in this big lot. There I have another Stealth 64 2001 series card. I've actually got one of those as well. There's another Trident card. Unfortunately, this one does not work. I couldn't get it to display anything using some of the boards that I've got that I know work, and that's what I tested with the other video boards, but this one would not function. I couldn't get it to display anything. However, it did post, and it posted correctly. It didn't give me any beep codes, so I don't know if there's something wrong with this one or what, but maybe that'll be for a different day. There's the last Trident. Now this one I was really happy to get because it's an ISA card. It didn't come with a manual, but it's a manual that I had that's for a similar card. In fact, this is a JAX 8221, or I'm sorry, 8212B, and this is just a 8212. So a little bit of a difference there. And that one, I've actually got the discs for the 8212, but not the 8212B. I don't know if they use the same discs or not. But I know that card works, and I've already gone ahead and cleaned it. It came out really nice. So that's nice to have. It'll go work great with my 486 board whenever I get that working and set up in a case. Which, oh, I'm not going to get to that yet. I was just about to get to the cases and everything I bought, but all the towers, I should say, but I forgot about the motherboards over here. I do have a pair, of socket 7 boards. There's my tripod for my camera, but here they are. Here's one of them. They're kind of like AT and ATX split boards, so you got both power connections on them. But they're just socket 7 boards. This one came with a K6, and that works. Then I've got another one over here, pretty much the exact same. I've owned a few of these boards before, or one of them. It's actually in a different computer right now. I'll show you guys what it's in. It is in that one right there in the middle. It's got a Pentium 133 in it, I think. And it works. That's a shuttle hot board though. These, I don't know what these are. They're just kind of no-name boards. They have VIA chipsets, but I don't know what or who makes them. This is another socket 7. This had a Pentium 166 in it. Another one of those boards with the 2 power connections. This one I got to work the first time. This one was kind of weird because when I plugged it in, it wouldn't post, and it wouldn't give me any beep codes. But it's got this little power connection right there that looks just like a fan power connection, and the Antec power supply I was using has a little connection like that. And I plugged it in, and lo and behold, it actually posted and turned on. So I don't know what that was all about. Maybe it has to have a fan installed in order for it to function, but trying something else like this, like another one of the fan power plugs, that did not work. It wouldn't work with that. So maybe that's some sort of an auxiliary power connection or something. I don't know. Still glad that I got both of them to work. The first time I tried, I thought I only got one working. Here's a couple other cards that I got with a big pickup. This is just a modem. I just took it because it was kind of interesting. It has a microphone and speaker outputs on it. And here's a Audio PCI 9926 card. And it's got a creative chip on it, but I don't think it's a Sound Blaster of any sort. Here's the 2 processors I pulled from those. I guess those are baby AT boards. Here's the Pentium 166, and here's the K6. This is a 300 megahertz K6. Now, moving on to the towers and the desktops. Some of these I've had for some time. Some of them I bought from a different place, and they're actually in the process of being sold at the moment. So I'm not going to keep all these. Plus, a lot of these ones down here at the bottom I'm not going to be keeping, which would include that translucent one, that one. This Pentium 3, that's a Pentium. These 2 are Pentium 3s, the blue one and then this one up here, and then the gateway is an Athlon. There's another Pentium 3. Those 2 I got somewhere else. That one's supposed to be a K6, but this computer's got a K6, and this has a Cyrix processor in it, so it's a little switch, I think. I think somebody must have switched the processors at one point. I got a bunch of really nice AT keyboards. One's a Fujitsu. And that's the bottom one there. This top one is just kind of a no-name one. And there's another one brand new in the box too, which is kind of nice. And there's another one too. There's some floppy disks. There's a Athlon board that I got in the Omnitech case, which surprisingly had a Pentium 166 in it at one point. So I'm thinking it probably actually had that bottom board there in it, because it had a 166 in it, and it's also kind of a weird little thing. I know they made socket 7 what am I talking about? Socket 7 ATX boards with all the ports on the back, but for some reason this is an AT case, and I don't think it would have shipped with a socket 7 ATX board. I've only got one, and mine unfortunately quit working on me. So, and the reason that I say I don't think it shipped with a socket 7 ATX board is because if you look at the back of it, it actually just has one little sticker right there that says keyboard on it. So I'm thinking this probably at one time actually had a I/O shield that had a single hole for a keyboard and used an AT motherboard. But at some point it was probably upgraded to this right here, which is a, like I mentioned, an Athlon board. I think it's a slot one board. So I'm probably going to keep this board just because it works, and well, I don't know if it works. I haven't tested it. Supposedly though it works. That's what the lady that I bought it from said. So we'll see. I don't know if I'll test that on camera. I probably won't end up testing any of these newer things on camera, just because I don't want to make you guys go through all the boring stuff of watching those videos. I just want to cut to the more interesting things, at least what I think is probably going to be the most interesting. I'm sure none of you want to see a video on an eMachine's desktop, or or that thing right there. I know some other people would probably do videos on those, but it's just not it's not interesting enough for me. I want something I can customize, like this machine right here, which I'll get into in a sec. Now, going back to the floppy drives, what am I talking about? Well, that's just really nice. I don't even remember what I was talking about with the floppy drives. Well, anyway, there's some floppy drives. There's a Panasonic one, similar to the one that was in the other Omnitech computer, which this is also an Omnitech. If you saw in the front there, this ATX case. But on that other Omnitech computer that I bought, it actually had a Panasonic drive just like this, and unfortunately mine broke, so I could technically replace this with that one, but I found one that matched. It was kind of yellowed just about as much as the case, so I'm probably not going to do that. You can kind of see it way over there. It sort of matches, but maybe I'll have another Omnitech computer if I ever get that one working. Anyway, there's the big beast that I'm sure many of you guys have been looking at. That's an IBM 57SX, IBM Ps2 model 57SX. That was an interesting machine as well. It's got a 2.88 floppy drive, 2.88 megabyte floppy drive, along with a SCSI drive, or SCSI hard drive, which is the best thing, because that means I shouldn't have a hard time finding a new one, unlike the 55SX that has a proprietary type power supply along with the 30 and the Model 25. So that'll be hopefully the first computer that I'm going to try to restore, and I'll do individual videos on each of these, testing them, turning them on, at least as far as towers go. I'll do a video on main big computers. I probably won't do a video on any of the newer ones, so like all the Pentium 3s and the Athlons, but I'll definitely do a video on see, I've got a Tiger machine down there. There's another desktop you might be able to see with an AT power supply, this guy, and the IBM, and maybe the laptops as well, because those are kind of unusual, if they even work. I don't know if they will, so that'll be in separate videos. But none of the newer things, I don't think I'm going to do videos on those, because it's just not something I want to do videos on. It's not interesting to me for me to run a Pentium 3. There's so many videos on YouTube already that have people running Pentium 3s, and I'm not huge into gaming on them. I like gaming on the more older machines, probably ones like 486s and Pentiums, but I'm not a huge fan of gaming on like Pentium 3s and Pentium 2s. I do have a couple Pentium 2s, but anyway, that's for another day. I'm going to go ahead and show you guys what the laptops look like here. This is a Dell Inspiron, what? I don't even know what. Dell Inspiron number Pp01X, I guess. It's got a huge crack on the bottom, and it originally looks like it had Windows Millennium on it. Has a Pentium 3, I guess. This thing is just beat. She said the screen didn't work. I don't know if the screen works or not, but well, maybe not. Oh, yeah, it's falling apart. There's a lot of problems with this thing, so I don't know if I'll get it working. It would be nice to see if I get it working though, because it's got a floppy drive along with a CD drive, and I've heard quite a few good things about those laptops. So I don't know. Underneath that though, we've got a JetBook. Yeah, no clue what a JetBook is. Probably another no-name laptop, or another laptop that's not very well constructed. In fact, that one actually seems to have had an overheating problem, because the bottom of it is all bubbly. The plastic on the bottom is all bubbled, so I think it must have had an overheating problem at one time. And yeah, not a whole lot other than that to talk about with towers. I might want to show you guys the inside of this thing here, actually. It's kind of interesting. So you might remember how I was talking about earlier how One of these has a K6 and the other one has a Cyrix processor in it. Well, here's the processor I was talking about right here. I've heard of them, but I've never actually owned one. What this is an IBM 6x86. No clue. Maybe like a... It's obviously some sort of a Pentium clone or an AMD. Probably a Pentium, actually. I don't know. If anybody knows, that'd be great. It says 66 megahertz, so I'm going to assume that's probably a 66 megahertz processor. But it is a socket 7, so I don't know if it works. I haven't tested these machines at all. This one has a Cirrus Logic video card in it. And a modem of some sort. Along with what looks to be, probably at one time there was a sound card in here, because there's a cable going from the CD drive to nothing. This one's got a hard drive, and she told me it had a floppy drive in it that was kind of interesting, but I'm not able to look at that right now because it's sort of stuck in there. I haven't taken this computer apart at all. God, can't even speak English. I haven't taken this computer apart yet fully. I've only taken off the front cover and I've only taken off the top of it and the CPU heatsink along with the fan, just so I could see what it was. It is an AT board though, and I think it's another one of those boards that's kind of like a crossover board. It's got an ATX power supply hookup too, and so does the one underneath it. Well, no, that one doesn't. Sorry, that one does not have that. What the heck else was I going to say? Oh, this one has a small power supply problem. It looks like somebody hit this one in the back, and I hope it's not broken. I don't think it is. There's usually no circuit board right there. It's usually all behind there a little bit, so I don't think it's broken. I hope it's just a problem with the metal. Looks like somebody just hit it. Hope that's only the problem, and that it doesn't short out or anything. Yeah, but that'll be in a different video sometime soon, along with the IBM. Those will all be separate videos by themselves. I'm going to go ahead and show you guys the front of this one here so you guys can see, and I'll also show you the other few that I've got. There's the front of it. Really not anything interesting. This one's a little more interesting to me, just because it's got that little CPU speed display. I don't know if that's preset. I'm assuming it is, but I don't know if it's preset to what's in there or if it's set to whatever was originally in there. But I don't know. Supposedly it works. These two I was told worked. I don't remember. I think the IBM works too. That's what she told me. And this one supposedly had a working board, which I think I mentioned already. And the bottom one there is a Tiger. It's supposed to have a K6 in it. But like I said, it's been swapped with a Cyrix processor. I think that one's 166 megahertz or 133. Yeah, not anything too interesting though. I've had probably more interesting pickups than this. This is mostly a lot of stuff that I'm not going to keep, like this machine right here, those two. I don't know about that purple case. I might actually use it for this board right here. I've got to build a machine to test hard drives with, and I think that would make a neat one. And that Dell over there, that's another thing that I'm probably not going to make any videos on anyway. I've already got another Dell next to it too, which is just a little bit different than that one. Plus, I've got a Dell of similar case style that was the family's old Dell, so I don't need another one, especially not with a Pentium 3. Yeah, not a whole lot other than that. I'm a little tired actually. This is kind of just a video so I can show you guys everything I got. Got a couple other things to show you though. A couple CD drives. Interesting Philips drive too. I don't know what that'll be in. I'll use them. I can always use those types of drives. This was probably the best part, again, other than the IBM. This is a whole box full of IDE hard drives. No SATA drives, which I was extremely happy to get. Or I was extremely happy about, because I don't need SATA drives. I don't use them anyway. I don't have any computers that really work with them that I keep, except for my main one upstairs. Here's an IBM Deskstar. Assuming this drive doesn't even work, because they usually don't work. I've got another one too right here. This is a Hitachi Deskstar. Once again, probably doesn't work. Thankfully though, those are the only two Deskstars that I've got. The rest of them There's a bunch of these Western Digital caviar drives, which is pretty awesome. A lot of them below a gigabyte too, or a couple of them. I got some quantum drives. Here's a neat old Seagate Metalist drive. That's a 500 meg drive. And there's another Seagate drive. That's a newer one. That'll be useful in a machine that I'll sell though, because it's got a pretty large hard drive. Yeah, there's some decent stuff in there. There's a whole big bunch of it too. I probably won't have a video on that stuff either. I'll just test it on my own free time. Here's some other stuff though. Sorry about the vent. There's a vent right over there, so it might be kind of hard to hear. There's some other boards in here though. Just like 3 of them. I think probably like a Pentium 4 and an AMD. I just threw them in here. Yeah, there's a lot of junk in this. Here's the power supply for the Dell. Actually, that's for that JetBook. Here's a neat little tape drive. 3.5-inch tape drive. I got a tape with that too, so that might be kind of neat to test out in another video. I'm just trying to get away from that stupid vent. It's so dang loud. Yeah, there was a couple modems too that I got, but one of them. That's nothing interesting though. It's just one of these guys. So here's a tape for that drive. It's like a 680 meg drive, meg tape, with a 340 megabyte tape inside. So, oh, whoops, I'm sorry, I read that wrong. That's compressed, so that was my fault. This was literally the only piece of software that I got. She didn't want to sell any of her operating systems, which that's fine with me. I mean, I've already got 2 versions of Windows 3.1 anyway, so I haven't tested this out. I'm sure it works. I think I've already got a version of Microsoft Golf anyway. Yeah, looks good. So yeah, not a whole lot of interesting stuff. Started out the video pretty excited and just kind of got more boring, I guess, as it went on. But hope to see you guys in another video. Thank you for watching.